Basement League Plus. Cobb and Dash on the mic, bringing heat every line. ZT still chasing his very first ring. 14 years deep, still hasn't won a thing. Alex in the playoffs, can't get past the gate. Matt's got the trophies, his legacy's great. Dave and Matt voting down all the new rules. Dash runs the league like a king with no tools. Cobb to back, L's wearing that crown. New guys just learning, trying not to drown. Millie remote drafting from who knows where. CB, Yago, Taya, Jello J, bring flair. Stu with 2 titles, still hungry for more. But watch out, the Tomato King's at the door. Dash calls the shots, runs it like a boss. Some metal pelting's coming, gonna sting and toss. Basement boys forever, this league's our pride. Cobb and Dash, take you on a fantasy ride. Hey, this the Cobb and Dash show, better check your stats. Previewing the matchups, breaking down the facts. From draft day drama to those title dreams. We the kings of the basement league, we keep it alive. Cobb and Dash, Cobb and Dash,
and there we have it. We are back for 2025. Gotta love the new intro there, the nice rebranding of the Cobb and Dash show. You know, we expect rebrands out of you guys, but you know, it's only fair if we expect it out of you guys. We do it too, right on the show. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed that opening intro. We have a Tomato King intro later on in the episode, which you guys will definitely enjoy. Cobb, how are you doing, buddy?
Fantastic, man. Well rested after that long weekend, and gotta say, one new intro song was awesome. I thought it was ZT for a second, but
it sounds like ZT.
It does. That was fantastic. Little rebrand there, and then the draft, of course, on Saturday. Everyone's saying best draft of all time, which is big claim for how many drafts we've had. So yeah, I'm feeling great. Ready to go. Best time of the year.
Yeah, we went 2 days until the week one kicks off the NFL season. Dallas and Eagles on Thursday night, then Friday, Chiefs and Chargers. So yeah, we're gonna get after it. And I think we're gonna try to do our shows Tuesdays throughout the season. I think that's the best time we can do it, but we'll try to keep it to a regular schedule. I know like last 2 years we kind of break it up a little bit. Kyle will be going out of town soon. So I will need a guest host for those times so Kyle can enjoy his vacation. So I'll try to get a guest host on for those. Just one episode? Or maybe 2 episodes?
If it's during the week, then 2, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, 2 episodes. I'll need a guest host. So I'll be reaching out to Alex, Stu, some of the other guys in the league. They want to get guest host with me. It's tough to take over Cobb's role in the Cobb and Dash show. I mean, as you guys saw during the draft on Saturday, Cobb's role is pretty key here as the co-commish. And if you had any bad things to say about him, you go back and renege on what you said, because Cobb, some are saying Cobb had one of the biggest blunders of the draft because of his co-commish role. And he was kind of frazzled there. That's why he went 2 tight ends. I'm not saying that. Many people are saying that around the league. And people are trying to figure out ways to lighten the load for you for next draft, so you don't have to get in those predicaments. So we'll talk about that as we get closer to next year's draft, but it's time to get grind time with this week 1 stuff. So the way we'll roll out this episode today, we'll go predictions, 6 matchups, and then we're going to go to our Tomato King rankings, and that's pretty much based on your draft and your keepers and stuff. So, So, Cobb, anything you want to add before we get to week 1 predictions?
No, I'm ready to go. I appreciate the acknowledgement for all the work during draft day. We had a lot of trades going on, made it a little difficult, even though when it was my time to try and make some trades with Mr. like ZT, for instance, he didn't want to do it. So I had to take 2 tight ends instead. Is that going to impact me? We'll see, but we'll let the rankings decide that as we go through this.
Yeah, I think those are the most trades we ever had on draft day, and by like 2 owners really, but. Yeah, well, so it was just ZT and Hotch pretty much, right?
Yeah, ZT and Hotch. I mean, Stu had the big one to kick it off. I think ZB was involved in 2 of them.
Surprised ZB's not much of a trader.
No, he was ready to sling it.
Well, that's the beauty of having 11 people at the drafts, right? People feel it. People see the trades going on, like, hell yeah, I want to get in. I want to get in the thick of things here.
Yeah.
And then Adam texted me. I don't know if Adam watches the show, but Adam texted me after the draft or probably midway through. He said, I will not miss next year's draft. So we're locking him in. It's the Labor Day weekend next weekend, buddy. We're locking you in, man. All right, so let's kind of dig in here. So the way we kind of go out this, we'll share the screen of the matchups. So to kick it off here, we'll let Cobb go with the first matchup here. In this first matchup, I believe, let's see, let me go to the banner here. First matchup here, I'm going by last year's orders. We usually go to the top team. So Stu versus Jack is the first matchup we'll share here for week 1 of the 2025 season. So Stu and Jack kick us off here, boys. And here it is, Stu and Jack. Where is Stu? There you go, Cobb's our spot. All right, take us away here, Cobby.
Yeah, as we highlighted, Stu was made one of the surprising moves during the draft, trading away Jaden Daniels for honestly a huge haul. I think all of us were a little shocked at how much Notch was willing to give away. I think it was a first and second this year, and a first round pick next year. So Stu is locked and loaded for a repeat. This is gonna be the first stage or step towards that. So really interested to see how he's able to overcome that. Honestly, it wasn't really surprising Super Bowl or championship run. I think it was something we had called since like week 4 last season, and getting the itch to call it now for the repeat. But I'll hold back. Going through the matchup though, because I actually ended up going through these and liking Jack's team better than I thought I would. Quarterback, Jalen Hurts versus Bo Nix. Stu traded away Jaden Daniels because he is excited about Bo Nix. I think his season is going to be very much on the hinge of how well Bo does. I don't think he has a backup QB, does he? No, he doesn't. And they're going against the Titans. Don't really know how they're going to look. I don't think they're going to be the best. But you got the Thursday night matchup with Jalen Hurts against the Cowboys. They're just coming off a Super Bowl too. So I do have Jalen Hurts over Bo Nix in this matchup just because you also have the rushing upside. I think Dallas just lost Micah Parsons, so we'll see what that defense looks like going forward. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what Bo Nix does. I think that was a surprising starter towards the end of the year for Stu. Did he have him in his championship lineup? Do you remember?
No, he had Daniels. He went ride or die Daniels throughout the season, and that's why I'm kind of surprised about that trade. I'm not a Knicks fan at all. I think Knicks is gonna have a horrible season. So
yeah. We'll see. It's gonna be very telling. Stu might be punching himself, but out of that trade of Jaden Daniels, he did get Malik Neighbors. So against Brian Thomas Jr., I'm gonna do Malik Neighbors just because he's just going to get peppered with targets. I mean, assuming he plays. I know he's the questionable tag, but I think he's supposed to play. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. was a surprise last year, breakout rookie receiver. Now he's in second year, but obviously a lot more competition in targets, I think, over in Jacksonville. I think that's going to be this could honestly be a toss-up, but I'm going to give Stu the edge here with Malik. Kyron Williams versus Devon Achane. This is going to be an interesting one. Achane again. This second of Jack's keepers with Brian Thomas Jr. That's like a star-studded keeper list if Achane can stay healthy. I know there's Ollie Gordon right behind him as well. People are high on him. We'll see how the workload is, especially Achane battling injury. He's projected 18 versus Kyron's 14, which is kind of crazy to me. I think I have a little bit of more of a toss-up here. I'm interested to see how much they use Achane. I feel like they're going to hold them back a little bit, especially because they're going against Indy. I feel like they should beat Indy. So I'm going to go Kyron here, actually. I'm going to go against Yahoo projections. Kittle versus Pitts. This is going to easy Kittle. I think Pearsall is the only other weapon really other than like CMC, but Kittle should be the safety blanket for Purdy, especially while Ayuk and Juwan Jennings are hurt. Kyle Pitts being your starting tight end. If it's going to be a year, is it this year? You know, we've been saying that for 5 years now. Exciting pick. Kind of threw me off of Jack's team a little bit, where he could have gone a little bit of a safer tight end. I know he almost did. We almost had a trade for one during the draft, but he pulled out of that and decided to go with Kyle Pitts, first tight end. Could pay off big. Could be disappointing, but I'm going to go Kittle. McLaurin versus Tyreek Hill. Obviously, McLaurin was holding out for a while. Tyreek Hill has had a wild offseason. I don't even know what to expect from this season. I think that could be that's probably the riskiest. I mean, it's easily the riskiest keeper that Jack had of the three. Could pay off really well. could just be detrimental. Terry got his paycheck. That's also another. I think he actually took Terry with the second he got from Hotch. So no chance of a stack, unfortunately, because he did trade away Jaden Daniels. But actually, I feel like Stu could have had Terry still because I think he took him. He took Kittle with his first second, and then Terry with the second. So he could have had a stack if he wanted it, but he got Kittle instead. And then Terry, but I'm going to go Terry McLaurin in here. I think he's still going to be the go-to guy on that offense. And if Daniels is going to keep taking that step forward, I think he's going to be a big part of it. CMC versus DeAndre Swift, CMC all day. Don't need to say much outside of that. I don't really know what's going to change here for Swift. I don't really see the appeal in him personally. But that is, Stu's RB2, so I don't want to be too mean there. CMC is an easy one as long as he stays healthy again. Should be a beast. ETN versus Jacoby Myers. Give me Jacoby Myers, I guess. Again, another guy that just seems running back seems risky. I think Jacksonville just wants him out. Honestly, I feel like they're surrounding him with like replacements. Don't see him being a huge impact on that offense, but again, if Jacksonville takes a step forward, especially with like Travis Hunter on, we'll see. Maybe Etienne will be that like breakout of what we thought he was going to be last year. He was a super disappointing pick last year, so maybe he can bounce back. But give me Jacoby just for the safety net. But with that, yeah, I mean it's a pretty close matchup, honestly. I think if Stu had Jaden Daniels still, I think that would be a for sure Stu in this matchup, but. I don't know. There's some big playmakers on Jack's side that gives me a little edge. I think Stu starts off with a rocky repeat start and loses this one to Jack, 131 to 122.
Wow, that's a big upset.
It is a big upset. I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks thing really bothers me. I don't really see Knicks being key. I think Hurts will have a good game at least week 1. And I know they're playing Tennessee, but man, usually those teams that like no one expects anything out of, like the Tennessee Titans, right? They come out and they win. Like last year, for example, didn't you guys beat Cincinnati week 1 of last year? It was like a surprise.
I think did we beat them? We either beat them or we almost beat them because we also almost beat the Eagles.
Hold on,
we beat the Bengals last year.
That's right. Okay, so 16-10. So there's always like games like that. And I feel like Tennessee's gonna be one of the kind of games that kind of bring like Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Everyone's so expecting the Broncos to be this great team this year. I could see that being like a dogfight. So I think Hurts blows them out. I don't think that's close. Neighbors and Thomas, that'll be interesting. Just curious to see what the quarterback situation there. That's just such a mystery right now with that quarterback situation. Whereas we know BTJ is solid. We know they have more weapons there. It should be a good year for Lawrence, and we kind of know what that could be. We know what Lawrence can be. We don't really know what's going to happen with Wilson or going Jackson Dart. But yeah, I like how Kittle blows out Pitts, Achane, and Kyron Williams. Yeah, that's a good one. Honestly, you could probably go Wash there, but I think you're right. It was a slight lean to Kyron. McLaurin sucks he doesn't have Daniels there anymore, but McLaurin, Tyreek Hill. I'd probably go Tyreek Hill. Swift, McCaffrey, Jacoby Myers at the end. Myers, I would say, slight lean to Myers over Travis at the end. But yeah, I think Stu wins this one. I'll go a little different from you. I think Stu wins this one a little bit, but it'll be close. So yeah, I won't be surprised if Jack pulls it out. Like the Vegas line for this game would probably like -3 Stu. So like it's close enough. We're like, okay, so Jack could win this game. So yeah, I'm gonna give Stu the 3 points there as a favorite. But yeah, I'll go like 132 to 128. Pretty close game, but I won't be surprised if Jack pulls it off. It's closer than it should be, really.
Agreed.
All right, so now we're gonna go to the next match. We got ZB versus Yags, the two members of the new owners club, ZB and Yags. Gotta love that. Those guys, you have a lot of love for each other. So Yaglu needs to update his logo, and Zach needs to change his team name. Let's get that out of the way right away. So Yags, update your logo, and ZB, let's get a new team name. Okay, so right off the bat, you got Kyler Murray against the Colts. Or sorry, not the Colts, New Orleans. And then Jordan Love versus Detroit. I'm going to go, I'll probably go Kyler Murray. I think New Orleans is going to be a disaster this year. That's a team that like is already like tanking for Arch. I know they drafted that bum from Louisville. I think they're one of the teams going for Arch. Even though, is it going to be Arch? I don't know. It could be Drew Allen for all I know. Arch looked like dog shit last week. But nonetheless, I think New Orleans is going to be terrible. Detroit, I will say, it's a home game against Detroit. Lifetime Jordan Love's numbers against Detroit are not good. You just do any research on that. Jordan Love's numbers are not good lifetime against Detroit. I think Kyler Murray with the rushing yards, everything going on in New Orleans in a dome. I think Kyler Murray has a good game. I think Cardinals pull out a big dub there. So I'll take that one. Kyler Murray. JSN, San Francisco. Justin Jefferson against Chicago. I'm going to go JSN. Everything I've read about, reports coming out of Seattle, Sam Darnold and him have a great chemistry. Justin Jefferson didn't play in preseason. We don't know what's going to happen with J.J. McCarthy. He could be a bum for all we know. And apparently reviews on him are mixed. People kind of don't know what's going to go on with that. So I'm going to go JSN. I know it's not popular, but even like projections there, it's like slightly. So I'll give you JSN in that one. So right off the bat, ZB gets 2. I'll also tell you a very inside source here. I have a reliable source that tells me if the Jaguars team is not get off the ground by like week 5, week 6 by that trade deadline, there could be a huge fire sale coming out of Jaguars camp. A huge blow up is what I've been told. So that's a pretty reliable source telling me that too. So take that for what you will here. So then you got Alvin Kamara against Josh Jacobs. I'll take Josh Jacobs in that one. I think Detroit, as much as I dog Detroit, I do think there are going to be some growing pains here. You have 2 new coordinators there. Ben Johnson's gone and Aaron Glenn are gone. And we kind of saw some shaky games last year where Detroit's defense looked horrible. Like they were like track meets in some of those games. So I could see Jacobs. I know Love's, I don't think he's have a good game, but I think Jacobs has a really good game. Kamara, I think they're going to get blown out. So unless he gets a lot of like checkdowns, I don't see Kamara doing much. Arizona's got a decent defense, very underrated. So give me Jacobs in that one. And Njoku, Laporta, I'm going to go Njoku. Go look at 2 years ago stats for Njoku when Joe Flacco was the quarterback in Cleveland. His numbers were the best. It's his career best season, and that was because of Joe Flacco went to him all the time. They didn't have Jerry Jeudy that year, but still, Njoku dominated with Flacco. So I'm going to go Njoku there over Laporta. I mean, look at the numbers there. They're giving him a 10. They're giving him a projected 10, which is nuts. And he went like rounds after Laporta, too. Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf. Devontae Adams, I think, is more of a solid floor. I don't know what to think with DK Metcalf and Rodgers. Rodgers could just use him as his Devontae Adams, but in DK Metcalf's entire year, he's never been a possession guy. So unless Rodgers makes him that possession guy, which ceiling-wise, that potentially could be key for DK Metcalf. Just an unknown there. And he's going to be going against, what's his name? Not Stingley. Sauce Gardner. So that's also another thing, too. That's a tough matchup. Well, Devontae's going to be going against Stingley, too, but I think Puka might get Stingley. So I think Devontae's going to have actually a decent game against Houston. So I'm going to go Devontae just because for the unknown DK Metcalf, I just kind of turns me off against week 1 in this game. James Cook, Baltimore. DJ Moore, Minnesota. James Cook, the volume there. Again, maybe a touchdown or 2. Don't know what's going to happen with that Ben Johnson offense in Chicago. People are saying DJ Moore could be the Amon-Ra St. Brown, whereas Rome Odunze could be the Amon-Ra St. Brown. We don't know who's going to be that guy. So for that, I'm going James Cook. I know what he is in that offense, and they get paid him a lot of money, so I expect a lot of totes in volume for James Cook. Zay Flowers, Ricky Pearsall. Give me Zay Flowers. Not a Pearsall fan. Did not like that keep at all. However, I will say this. Pearsall could be key. He's the only guy they have there, although Juwan Jennings might play this week. But Pearsall's the only legitimate guy they have there. They moved off Debo for him. No Ayuk. They picked up bums, MVS and Sky Moore. So potentially we have Ricky Pearsall being a guy this week. So it could be closer than what I think it is. But for the known factor, I'm going to go Zay Flowers. And so for that reason, pretty much overwhelmingly, I think ZB, who was a surprise last year, runner-up in the BL Plus, ZB starts the 2025 season 1-0 against my guy, Michael Yaglu.
Yeah, I think this is another close matchup for me. I think there's a lot of unknowns with this team, with Jefferson having the new quarterback, DK being on Pittsburgh, Ricky Pearsall stepping into that number 1 role, Devontae Adams being on the Rams, JSN having Darnold. Like it's a lot of unknowns in this matchup. So that's what makes this one so hard to pick. And I think I have a little more faith in taking someone like a DK over Devontae and honestly Pierce all over Zay. I've had Zay Flowers all over the place the last couple years, and he's good, but he's not nearly as good as I thought he would be for PPR standpoint. And I think he was just always a headache to start, where he just gets you nines and tens and just would never break one off. And I hope Baltimore can like start using him more because I think he's primed for a breakout. But I have Yags here. I think I'm trusting. I love the JSN with Darnold connection. JSN another keeper league, but I think it's just hard to pick against Justin Jefferson. I get the McCarthy question mark, but I think him, Jacobs, I feel safer with, and Kamara. I'll give him Joku. I have Jordan Love and Kyler Murray pretty much as a scratch. I have Metcalf just getting. I don't know who else he's going to throw to. Granted, we also saw Rodgers with Garrett Wilson, and he wasn't really much of a asset last year. But I do have DK over Devontae Adams there, and DJ Moore and James Cook a little bit of a wash. But I kind of lean DJ Moore and I lean Ricky Pearsall. So I do have Yags winning this one. I feel like I take it against EB too much. But then if I pick against Yags, he goes scorched earth and just wants to come after me. So just start off the year on a good note. I'm going to pick Yags here. Again, really close matchup. I'm going to go like 122 to 118.
Yeah, these week one matchups are always really hard because you're picking on what they did last year, and you're also picking against the mystery and randomness of some of these situations these guys have. You know, that's why some guys may fall in drafts because you don't know what's going to be their situation. But the Jordan Love thing, he's lifetime 2-4 against the Lions, 1,100 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in 6 games. So not great stuff.
Right.
Numbers against Detroit. Yeah. So yeah, and what did you say? You said 122 to 118.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I think this is another game that could go either way. Another game is like a 3-point to 4-point favorite. I think ZB would probably be the favorite this week just because he's coming off a good year last year. He's probably the favorite going into this game, so he'd probably be the -3 favorite. Yeah, it was the 3-point underdog. So yeah. So far you're going with the 2 dogs. Kyle's going with Dog City so far.
Yeah. Let's go.
I like it. We're
on our way back up.
I like it. You know, you may not be the pancake king anymore. You've already done the punishment, but like you still remember where you came from, so you're still going with the dogs.
Remember those roots.
All right, so our next one is ZT versus Roden. ZT made a lot of splashes on Saturday, and tonight he's going against Roden. So, Kyle, what do you have in this one? Break it down for us, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we have a heavy-hitting QB matchup week one, and they're going against each other. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. It's going to be a fun game to watch. That's the centerpiece of both of these teams is their quarterback. That's why they kept him. One of the, 10 quarterbacks kept? Maybe not 10, but it was like 8 or 9. Well, actually more than that. You guys having 2 is crazy. But I'm going to go. Oh man, it's a tough one. I want to go Lamar just for the known rushing upside. I know Derrick Henry vultures a lot of TDs away. Josh Allen, I just like he's gonna have to run just as much. His receivers, you know, is it going to be Shakir? Is it going to be Keon Coleman? I don't really know how that's going to pan out. I mean, he always finds a way to do it, but I'm going to go Lamar there just purely because I think he's a safer pick. Not that I think Josh Allen's going to be right there up there with him in scoring. Just I think Lamar is going to be the just further along with his rushing. McMillan versus Nakua. McMillan was a guy that ZT was psyched to draft in the second. He said he almost didn't draft him, which pisses me off because then I would have been able to keep him in the third if he's going to be as good as people think he will be. I think I'm going to go Puka here though because I think it's hard to just cash in on the Panthers like everybody's been saying that like they seem like it's a sure thing without remembering where Bryce Young came from. I know that he ended the season looking a little better than he did. I know McMillan seems like a stud. I think it's just one of those things where we're going to need to see that chemistry grow a little bit in the real games. So Puka obviously has a lot more competition. Oh, well, maybe not a lot more with Cup gone, but with Devontae Adams competing for targets. But I still trust Puka there. Hubbard versus Gibbs. Give me Gibbs again with Carolina. I don't really know. I know they're going against Jacksonville. That both kind of messy teams. At least we'll see where they go. But I'm going to go Gibbs. Gibbs could be the running back 1 overall. That's again another high keeper by ZT here. He's gave up his first to keep Gibbs, and I think for good reason. I think he would have been in contention for. He definitely the top 2 picks. I don't think he would have left the top 2, so he had to keep him there. But have him over Hubbard. Kraft versus Ingram. Ingram, new team, or like with Knicks. I'm gonna go Kraft. I don't know. Like you said, like the Denver Tennessee, I feel like it's gonna be a messy game. So I'm not really banking on that being anything major. And Kraft is kind of a known commodity. Granted, again, hearing your stat with Jordan Love against Detroit makes me think a little bit otherwise. But Kraft, I think, was a really good value pick. And I think these mid-round tight ends are also scrambled that it's kind of hard to decipher between the two. I do think Ingram looks really good for the season long. I'm just, again, first game, it's hard to bank on that. Amon-Ra versus T. Higgins. Give me Amon-Ra. I think T. Higgins is going to have a good year, but I know last year we thought the same. He was injured and then had a lot of hot and cold weeks. Amon-Ra, again, could be a top, he should be a top 3-4 receiver with PPR involved. So give me Amon-Ra there. Deebo versus Aaron Jones. Man, Aaron Jones was surprising last year, but I think everyone's pretty big on Jordan Mason taking his job. I don't know if he's going to solidify himself there. Deebo, new Washington offense. Everyone, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Washington, though. So I think, again, McCarthy just getting started. I'm going to lean Aaron Jones there. I don't really know how Deebo is going to look in this offense immediately. I do think he's going to get more carries and because they're still trying to figure out the back situation in Washington with Brian Robinson being gone. But I don't know. Something about it just makes me think that Aaron Jones is still going to continue to be a worthy starter, even though Jordan Mason's creeping up. I think for the first week, I'm going to go the safer route with Aaron Jones. Warren versus Igbuka. Man, gross. Give me Igbuka, Tampa Bay with Baker. I think he's going to want to sling it against Atlanta. I think that should be a really fun game to watch. Warren, Pittsburgh versus the Jets is just a game that I don't think anybody wants to watch week 1. Warren should produce a solid floor, but I like the potential of Igbuka in that offense. So I'm going to lean him there. But overall, I think the firepower on CT's side is just too strong right now for Roden with Lamar, Gibbs, and Amon-Ra. I think between those 3, I think that's going to push him along and get him the W. And in a lot of weeks, I think he's going to have to lean on those 3. They're his keepers for a reason, but I'm going to give him the win here, 126 to 120, kind of where where Roden is right now. I think it'll be a good game. I just think there's more sure things on ZT's side.
So for me, I have I'm going the opposite of you here, and this is not planned, people. This is not planned here.
Wow.
So this is Cobb's first favorite he's going with. So we're basing favorites off last year, right? So ZT was the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. He ended up being the 3 seed at the end of the year. But while he is the favorite, I'm seeing the number here, but based on projections, I think this game's like a pick 'em. I think ZT's a 1-point favorite against Roden pretty much. And based on projections, they have like a 120 kind of game here. I think ZT is a favorite. However, this is the first game. I'm going to go the opposite. I know the last few years I've been a big Roden guy, and I'm going to stick with my being a Roden guy. And this year, I want to give props to ZT, by the way. I think ZT heard the criticism, and I've been all over the kid for a very long time. And I think when he came to this draft, usually he kind of holds his card, sits in the corner, doesn't really say much during a draft. But Saturday, something came out of him. He became an aggressive guy at the draft, going, trying to trade with people. Never seen that before. I know it was mid-rounds, in the 8th to 10th rounds he was doing this, but he was seeking out players, and I got to give him, he heard the criticism. The fan base over there in the ZT land is at their wit's end with him. Every year it's like, oh, we're going to do this, We're relying on the same 2-3 keepers every year. And this year was like, okay, I'm going to keep the same guys, but I'm actually going to try to build my roster out. And he did a decent job. I'll have to say he did a decent job. So he went out and did some stuff that he doesn't normally do. So I got to love a guy taking criticism to heart and actually trying to do something about it. And so while I know there is a history of me dogging ZT, saying he's a choke artist, he doesn't do much, I think I like what I saw this year. I like what I see. So right now, based on what I saw going into this year, I think it might be a little different year for him. So I like that. But week 1, I'm going opposite. I don't think ZT is going to win this game. I have Roden to win this. So I have Josh Allen over Lamar. I got Puka over Tet. I'm not a big Tet guy. I have Gibbs over Chuba. I have Evan Ingram over Tucker Kraft. I do think in an ugly game like this, I think the Joker position in Sean Payton's offense, what they call the Evan Ingram spot, I think he's going to eat. I'm a big Evan Ingram guy. I think you might have a little bit buyer's remorse because he sucked for you last year. And you had to trade him off. And then T. Higgins, not a big fan. Amon-Ra, I'll take. I do think Debo, so this is interesting. So I know everyone's sucking Bill Merritt's balls. I think Debo, who's got a history of being a running back and receiver, and you have Cliff Kingsbury there, an experimental offensive coordinator, likes to utilize strengths. I think you might see Debo in the backfield a lot more than people are thinking. He may not get the RB flex, which I was hoping for many years when I had him on my team. I think Debo will be utilized a lot more in the backfield with Washington, especially with this weird, mysterious thing they got going on with their running back situation. I think you might see Debo actually be a guy in that offense until he gets hurt, which will probably be by the end of that game. But I do think Debo will be a somewhat of a weapon utilized over there. And Aaron Jones, like you said, Jordan Mason stealing snaps from him. Aaron Jones is not the Aaron Jones of yesteryear anymore. So I do like Debo against Aaron Jones there. And then lastly, another Jaylen Warren who solid projection here, but he's going to be splitting time with Caleb Johnson. Never could take the job from Najee Harris. And now we're talking about Caleb Johnson, who led the Big Ten in rushing last year. We're going to say Jaylen Warren's going to be what kind of role. I don't know if he can supersede Caleb Johnson. I think he'll just be more a passing down back. And I think Ibuka, I think he'll be the guy. I think he might be Rookie of the Year this year. He's going to be the number 2 behind Mike Evans. No Chris Godwin. And I think you might see him right out the gate. I think Eggball could be the guy. Ibuka could be the guy in Tampa Bay. So I think I like Roden in a close game, but I think Roden wins this one 126, like you said, but 118. I think he edges it out. But again, it's going to come down to the 2 quarterbacks on Sunday night, so that'll be the big one. Any Monday night games here? I think just ZT's Aaron Jones. I think it'll be so beyond that by that point. But I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, that's going to be the decider in this game. And I think Josh Allen will overtake or do as much as Lamar Jackson. So if Roden had a lead going into that game and they do as much as each other, Roden continues that lead. And then ZT falls short on Monday night, expecting a big game from Aaron Jones. And we find that Aaron Jones is really this number 2 running back in that offense. So I think Roden comes out with a big victory in week 1. So Roden, but I gotta say, I still think I love what I saw from ZT at the draft. It made me think this might be a different year for him. So ZT, I'm kind of high on ZT going into the season, but he just loses week 1. That's all. There's always got to be a caveat there.
It's a good bait and switch.
All right, so our next one is Dash Alex Cobb. So with as always with the we always talk about our matchups. The other host will start off with that matchup there. So no biases in this one. So Cobb, take us away with the Dash versus Alex matchup.
Yeah, this is a big one because I know how much both owners want this win. We got some good rivalries going into week 1 to start off the year, but we had the surprise, I think, of the off season with the 2 QB keeper on Dash's side. Ended up convincing our current champion to follow suit and doing the same. So again, could be a trend that we see kind of growing into something that people start to do going forward. But it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, Alex coming into the season with another disappointing season behind him needs to make his name. Needs to make a name for himself in this league other than being the quarterfinals merchant. As you can see, is his new team name. I like the rebrand, appreciate that. Obviously, with the Cobb and Dash show, is it debate show or debate session? Is it the DS?
No, Cobb and Dash show derangement syndrome.
Derangement syndrome, that's what it was. I can get show out of my head. So two good rebrands here, but going into the matchups, we have Purdy with Mahomes. I mean, you'll know better than everyone else about how Mahomes and you guys match up against the Chargers. I think most people were expecting the Baker start, so I think that's a surprising start. Purdy, we'll see. Like that being my QB1. I mean, at least you have Baker in the backfield. I don't know who else does. He has Herbert, kind of middle of the pack QBs there on Alex's side. I don't think Purdy has that high of a ceiling. I think they're going to really just keep running the wheels off of CMC again. So I don't really know if his ceiling is quite there. Just based off of, oh man, I think it's pretty close. I might lean Mahomes just for the sake of things. I think I would 100% go Baker. I think Purdy, we'll see with the new weapons. I mean, he has Kittle, of course, but I think CMC is going to have a really big game. I don't know if the Seattle game will really be a shootout or anything. So, not that the Chargers will, but I think I like Mahomes' floor a little high more. But of course, it's also thinking on the next one with Worthy, give you the stack there. I think I'm going to take Collins on that end, but I do like that you're playing the stack. I think you're recognizing that maybe you need to get. I don't know, come out with a bang if week one to kind of go against Alex with the pair of Nico and Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. Those are three kind of scary people to go against, but I think the stack, that's kind of how you can win matchups like that. I'm still going to lean Nico on that one, but I do like the Worthy start. Again, you'll know better that it sounds like Worthy's looking like a beast. So with Rashee Rice serving the suspension, we'll see kind of how he can fill in a role. I know a lot of people are high on him last year, so second year could be key. Bucky Irving and Saquon. I'm gonna have to go Saquon, but barely. I mean, Bucky's gonna be awesome. He's the guy that I wish I had as a keeper. Had to trade him. We had another owner approach us with a good offer. Had to accept it, but he's going to a good home, a home that's going to appreciate him. Bucky Irving, I think, is in line for just a rock star season. Saquon, I think, is also going to have a good season. I don't think it's going to be nearly the season that it was last year. Obviously, it's easy to say with what he did last year, but I think, that's got to take a toll on him with how many times they had him run. I just would be very surprised if he's able to repeat. But I'm still going to go him in this matchup. Andrews versus Goddard. I'm going to go, oh man, probably a wash, I guess. I don't really, I might lean Goddard. I think he had some. I mean, Andrews is really touchdown dependent. I think Goddard has a little higher floor with PPR, and that's going to be my decision there. I think it's going to be Goddard in that case. I think it's going to be close, but Jonathan Taylor against Calvin Ridley. I think it's going to be Jonathan Taylor in this one, but I fully think Ridley is going to be just the safety valve for Cam over there in Tennessee. I don't really think they have other weapons. I'm really excited to see what him and Pollard can do. I think that's like all that offense will be able to use or do. So I think Ridley could be a really strong start going forward. It's one of those things where I want to see it like kind of start off strong before I lean that way. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Waddle. God, I'm getting PTSD from Harrison from last year. That was a bust of a pick. I was able to trade him
Terrible.
off, and he ended up getting a ring, which is unfortunate because since he went to Stu,
on his bench too, right? Like I don't think he
on
even
his
started
bench,
him.
dude. Oh yeah, so he just got the coast to a ring. But we wish that guy the best, I guess. I don't really know what to think of this Miami offense. I'm gonna have to lean Marvin Harrison there just because at least he's gonna get targeted. Is Kyler gonna be able to hit him this year? We'll see, because that was just the most frustrating thing in the world to watch last year. Give me Marvin Harrison. Mondre Stevenson versus Pickens. I think this is closer than people think. I think people are so. I love Trayvon Henderson. I think he's going to end up taking the job, but I think Stevenson's going to be involved a lot more than people want to think. So I think that 7.8 projection's a little disrespectful. I think he's still going to go out there and lead the way a little bit, and I don't think Vegas's defense is all that great. So Pickens, we'll see what his role is going to be. Everyone, thinks him on outside of CD is going to be great, and Dak's going to have a great year. But going against Philly, still can be a stingy defense. It's in Philly. I'm going to go Laundry here. Maybe again it's just a homer pick, but I think that again just kind of I've been going a lot of safer picks in these matchups, and Pickens is very much unknown. I think hopefully that'll be a good game, but again I think that Dallas and Philly game will be a little stingier. I think it's going to be a Saquon game, and on the other side, like Dak is obviously going to go CD, and then I think Ferguson's going to get plenty of targets and looks too. And Pickens, we'll still see. I think he's going to have a great year. I just don't know if it's going to get out that hot start. So overall, man, I think we're going to have to give it to Alex. I think going to go against the co-host here. I think Alex he's looking good. He kept Saquon even though he didn't want to. He went to his two-headed running back. He's a big running back guy, and I think he gets his floor to be competitive every year, but doesn't really get him too much further. But week one, I like his lineup with Nico, and then if his receivers, MHA or Pickens, can kind of pick it up, I think he's in for a good year. But I think it's gonna be a close game. 60-40. This projection is kind of crazy to me. The 119 to 108, I think it's the lowest we've seen by Yahoo. Kind of disrespectful. I'm gonna do 121 to 117, Alex, for this one.
So we've been pretty much guessing what the spreads would be. I have this game as a 10.5 point spread. I think I have Alex at a 10.5 point favorite. A hot take here. I think both these teams don't make the playoffs this year.
Wow.
That's a hot take for me, both these teams. I do think Alex wins. I think it might be a blowout. It might be. It might not be. But, yeah, I think Mahomes beats Purdy. I think people are sleeping on the Chiefs' passing attack. I think the passing attack's going to be back this year. That's not me just wishing it to existence based on everything I've read, everything I've seen. That I think the Mahomes will be back in the MVP conversation. I don't know how good we're going to be as a team this year. Definitely playoffs, but I don't know about Super Bowl. But I think the Chiefs' passing attack will be good. If you have any more drafts coming up here, Mahomes, he's going late in drafts. Xavier Worthy's going late in drafts. I think both those guys could be somebody to target. But yeah, Bucky Irving, Saquon. I do think Dallas' defense did get better in the run stopping. So that's 2 games a year. You're not going to be able to just run at Parsons and get and dominate. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think Saquon will edge out Bucky. But yeah, I looking across the board here, I'm not enthused about my team this year. I had no picks and I had to ante up. It was time to pay the piper. I couldn't continue to go next year. I couldn't do that anymore. So then we got Jonathan Taylor, Ridley. I think Jonathan Taylor gets that. But Alex's last 2 flexes don't really impress me. I think Marvin Harrison's. I need him to show me something at some point. I know everyone's saying, it might be a good year for him. I want to see him do something at some point here. And George Pickens will start a number 2 receiver in this matchup here as his last flex. I know Jalen Waddle, you can say he's number 2 receiver also, but we've actually seen Jalen Waddle be a guy having 100-plus catches. We haven't seen George Pickens do that. So I'm curious about that. And my last flex is horrible. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, hopefully for the first few weeks, he could be the RB1 and wait till Braylon Allen becomes an RB1 in New York. But yeah, I think Alex should win this matchup. If he doesn't win this week, and I think this is a year for Alex to cash in his chips here. If he doesn't win this year, I think we just write off this guy's never going to win. I think he puts in the same category as ZT. So Alex should win this matchup. If I win, this is the biggest. I think this is the biggest. So far of all the matchups of all teams in the playoffs last year, this is the first time we're seeing a team in the playoffs last year who's the underdog in their matchup. If I don't win this week, if I win this week, that's a huge jolt of energy for the Cobb and Dash show squad here. Because honestly, man, we're looking at a team that's potentially playing for tomatoes. So maybe a foreshadowing later on in the episode, but I think we're seeing a team right here that could be a jolt of life if we beat Alex this week. I do think Alex wins 132 to 112. That's my projection for this game. But Alex needs to win this game. He really does. I know people always talk about overreactions and must wins. This is a must win for Alex. This is a time to put me down right away, make me feel awful about the season. Do that, Alex. Need to do that this week. So that's where I have it. Any surprises there? You think I was gonna pick against my squad?
No, I think it's right there. I mean, I'm right there with you. If Alex loses this one, ooh, I think it sounds like you're kind of approaching it like hopefully it forms into like a playoff contender if it can, if you can fight off some early wins, but it's more of a kind of surviving, not getting the Tomato King kind of approach to begin the season. Alex is trying to overcome that name that he gave himself, and a loss here. Not
Yeah,
good.
I mean, he'll have to take away that title because he won't even make it to the playoffs, honestly.
True.
And based on my prediction, I don't think it's going to happen.
Mm.
So we'll see how that game goes. So good luck to Alex on that one. All right, next we got Tasia versus Hotch. Hotch and Tasia, both very vocal owners at the draft. You got to love that. Hotch, we'll get into that his stuff. Wasn't really a big fan of his draft. He's a very top heavy team, but I wasn't a fan of his draft at all. It's let's just say I won't be surprised if he doesn't make the playoffs. So okay, I got Tasia, Hotch. All right, so Justin Fields against Pittsburgh, Jaden Daniels against the Giants. Give me Jaden Daniels. I do say Giants have a really good defensive line. Redskins offensive line. I know they made that trade this offseason to get Tunsil. But their offensive line, man, the Giants have a really good pass rush. So going to be interesting to see what happens in that game. Justin Fields does give him that gives that floor, a high floor because he runs so much. So you know what? I think it's a wash. Look about it, it's a wash. This match is a wash. I think Justin Fields will do enough rushing to get him enough points. And I think Jaden Daniels is going against a team, a good Giants pass rush, which could limit what he has to do in that game. Mike Evans versus Devontae Smith. Give me Mike Evans. It's no brainer there. Derrick Henry, Amarion Hampton. Give me Derrick Henry again. I need to see it before I believe it with Amarion Hampton. Trey McBride, Brock Bowers. I'm going to go Trey McBride. I think Trey McBride is the number one tight end in the league right now. And I know Brock Bowers, Geno Smith is there. What if Geno Smith's numbers passing to tight ends? Geno Smith's not really a tight end guy. I mean, think about it. Look at all the years that Geno Smith was in Seattle. Who was their tight end? No one knows because he didn't throw the tight end. And I just see that. I see Trey McBride is going to continue on his partnership with Kyler Murray into the season. I think Trey McBride's right now, he's my tight end one in the league. I know Brock Bowers had a good year and a lot of hype. Give me Trey McBride. Now, this is where I kind of fall off with Taja's team a little bit. Isaiah Pacheco, Jamar Chase. I know Taja got Pacheco pretty late. Pacheco to me is in a timeshare. He's in a 1A, 1B situation, and they are huge Kareem Hunt fans. And I could see Pacheco being some weeks where he's not the guy. And some weeks Kareem Hunt is the guy. And I think this week, if Pacheco doesn't look good, you're going to see Kareem Hunt early on in that game. Look at both games last year. Kareem Hunt was the guy against the Chargers. He ate in those games. So we'll see what happens with Pacheco. Pacheco gained a lot of weight this offseason to try to, become more of a power running back so we can sustain the injuries and sustain kind of the constant barrage of carries and whatnot. But I think Kareem Hunt, people are sleeping on Kareem Hunt. I think he'll be the guy at many times this year. But Jamar Chase, in this matchup, Jamar Chase supersedes Pacheco. James Conner against CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb. I love James Conner. I think James Conner, they just give him an extension. People want to say, oh, he's old, he's done, he's washed. They gave him an extension for a reason. I know people are big fans of Trey Benson. I like James Conner, but this matchup particularly, I think I like CeeDee Lamb in that one. Courtland Sutton against Tennessee. Cooper Kupp against San Francisco. I'm a Courtland Sutton guy. I think he's one of the more underrated receivers in the league. Cooper Kupp, we don't know what his role is going to be in that offense. I think JSN's going to be a beast. But I need to see it with Cooper Kupp. And honestly, the draft, Hodge was dogging Cooper Kupp. So I think it's funny he ended up drafting him. And honestly, looking at his bench, there's nobody else who can start. He has to go Cooper Kupp because I think Hodge, and I know I dogged my team in the last segment, but I think Hodge may have drafted one of the worst benches ever assembled in BL Plus history. I mean, there's nobody I'm starting on that team, on that bench. Nobody. It's a really bad bench. So I'm really off. I'm really turned off by Hodge's last flex and then his bench. Top heavy team. And Devontae Smith. I'm really not a big Devontae Smith fan either. So, yeah, top heavy team by Hodge. He really needs his home run hitters to come out big time this year. But that being said, I think Tasia takes out Hodge in week 1 of the season. And I'll say I think this is one of those matchups where I think Hodge is a 3-point favorite. But I think Tasia takes down the top dog in this matchup. So give me Tasia to take Hodge 132 to 115.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I need to see the Justin Fields being worthy of a starting QB spot in this league first. I get the rushing upsides there, but that's Tage is weak, in my opinion. I think he has a good shot at taking Hotch down, but Justin Fields' variability here is super scary to me. And I think that's going to be the big make or break choice for the league. Otherwise, I probably would have picked him because I think I'm still going to go Hotch here. I think it's going to be a good game, like 128, 126 kind of thing. But we saw it last year with Hotch. We kept saying his team was terrible, and he just had the heavy hitters. And he made the playoffs. And I mean, they are heavy hitters with Chase, Lamb, Bowers, now Jaden Daniels. Like those four guys are going to win them weeks. Injuries aside, like he's going to be competitive, which is annoying because of how much he gives away, and he barely, fits strong pieces around him. I think Tage has a very safe team. I just don't think the ceiling is there at the moment. So I'm going Hotch with the 128, 126 win here.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. So, okay, yeah. So you go Hotch there. Interesting. Yeah, I do think that Justin Fields is his weakness. He's really big on him, which sometimes when Tage is really big on guys, I'm not big. I don't see the love in. But I do think the Giants' defense isn't being talked about enough. Their defensive front, and with the Commanders' kind of weakness in the offensive line, I think that's going to be an interesting one to watch. All right, so I will do this last one here: Adam versus Cobb. Pretty solid matchup. Two guys go way back. These two dudes. It's a big matchup because Cobb's coming off back-to-back pancaking, so he really needs to come out of the gates here in this one. I think Adam, based on the spread of this one, I'd probably give Adam a -4.5. I would say Adam's a favorite in this matchup. Adam -4.5 to Cobb being a +4.5 dog in this one. So let's do it. Let's get down brass tacks here. So Dak Prescott against Philly, Joe Burrow against Cleveland. I'm going to go Joe Burrow against Cleveland. I will say again, a team that's got a good defensive front against a bad offensive line. Again, another year where that plagues Joe Burrow, which I don't know how every year the guy can have one of the weakest O-lines in the league. I mean, well, it does make sense, right? You pay Burrow, you pay Chase, you pay T. Higgins, but you're not paying really anybody on the front line, which is just so weird to me. But Dak Prescott, nonetheless, against Philly, good pass rush. But you have a good pass. I mean, you don't really have much of a running game. You're going to have to throw the ball a lot that game. I do see Dak having a good game, but I'm going to go Joe Burrow just because of the offensive output they have there. So give me Joe Burrow slightly over Dak. I think it's going to be closer than you think. Drake London and Ladd. Give me Drake London. Drake London against Tampa Bay's bad secondary. It's going to be a shootout. Penix really was a huge Drake London guy. So I'm going to go Drake London here. I think Ladd might get some of his possessions and targets that he was getting last year. Might not be the same. Keenan Allen's back there, man. Keenan Allen and Herbert have a really good rapport. Dude, there was games I remember I was looking at 2 years ago's game log. He was getting like 20 and like 21 targets from Herbert, man. He loves Keenan Allen. So that's interesting. So yeah, I'll get Drake London there. Jetty versus Robinson. I'm gonna go Bijan. Bijan against the Tampa Bay rough defense. I'm gonna go Bijan here. Pretty big time there. Travis Kelce, T.J. Hawkinson. Man. I'm going to go wash there. I don't know. I like Hawkinson. Hawkinson was pretty weak last year when he came back from his injury, and they went to Oliver a lot, which really pissed me off. And they're still big fans of Oliver, too, which is interesting. Kelce, on the other hand, apparently he's faster. He looks better. He's lost some weight, all this stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. I know Rashee Rice not being there definitely helps in the intermediate game. So lots of love there with Trav. So yeah, I'll probably go wash here because I want to see what happens with both these guys. I'm going to go wash with these two. Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker. Give me Chase Brown. Kenneth Walker, you can't trust that dude to stay healthy at all. And as far as like the injury wise, I don't think he played at all during preseason. We saw a lot of Charbonnet. So I think there's more in that I think there's going to be more split backfields, whereas Chase Brown's got nobody behind him. They altered their offense to around his strengths, which the guy had a really good year last year. So I think Chase Brown might be one of the best fantasy guys, unless he gets hurt. I think he might be one of the best fantasy guys this year. So Jimmy Chase over Kenneth Walker, AJ Brown, Tony Pollard. Man, I'll probably go Tony Pollard. I think weapons wise, there's not a lot in Tennessee, and I think there's gonna be a lot of checkdowns going Tony Pollard's way, at least till Tajay Spears comes back. It's going to be Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley's show. So give me Tony Pollard over A.J. Brown, RG Harvey, and Breece Hall. Yikes. I think that's two guys who are going in backfields that are going to be split. Harvey's got Dobbins, and then Breece Hall's got Braylon Allen. Based on what we know about Breece Hall, we know he's a known commodity when he's healthy. So I'm going to go Breece Hall slightly just because we know a little bit about Breece Hall. We don't really know what RJ Harvey can give us yet. So with that being said, so we got Burrow for Cobb, London for Adam, Bijan for Cobb, Chase Brown for Adam, Tony Pollard for Cobb, and then Breece Hall. So you know what? I think Cobb. Guys, back-to-back Pancake King. He sees we changed the punishment to Tomato King, and he does not want to be part of it. So he says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to have a key draft. Outside of one draft blunder that he had with the whole tight end situation in that fourth round, I think Cobb really made the most of his draft and all the picks that he had. So Cobb starts off 2025 in the very right place before he heads to Italy for a couple weeks. I'm going to go Cobb here with the dub over Adam. 126, 115.
Yeah, I'm still up in the air of what the game's gonna look like. I think there's a lot of guys on my team that I have question marks around, and I'm just gonna have to keep moving pieces around the first few weeks until I find or things start to solidify. Like Breece, and I have Garrett Wilson on the bench. I have Golden and Jaden Reed on the bench. Jordan Mason, hopefully he turns into something. So I'm hoping to just get a competitive start to the season, and then I like my outlook after that. I think Adam has a lot of heavy hitters with the London, Brown, and yeah, Genty's should be good too. I'm just, I think my team has a really high floor, but it's more of do we have the glass ceiling or ceiling breaking potential? And a lot of it has to do with my question marks were on the receiver. I have the same question marks that you had. The tight end blunder. I've been looking back and forth of who I could have gotten instead. And honestly, the only person I was I wish I could have got him was Debo. I think I would have gotten Debo if I saw him there. Everyone else didn't really do it for me. I know Adam does have Charbonnet. I wish I had him as insurance to Kenneth Walker. But with that being said, I think it's going to be a really close one. Just to turn a corner. I will be rebranding. It's not going to be the Boomerangs anymore. Granted, for Stu, it should be the Michigan Boomerangs or just the Boomerangs in general, because he likes to go back and forth or return back to his old grounds. But I'll go me. I don't like picking me often, especially week one, but I'll go me 127 to 124 in a close matchup.
Real nail biter. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your pick yourself. It's different for you. You need to break the Pancake King chain there. So good stuff.
Yeah, tomato sounds a lot nicer.
Does it?
If needed.
I don't know. It's pretty emasculating. You get dominated with it's bullying. It's 11 guys just throwing freaking tomatoes at you. Yeah, it is. All right, so now we're gonna get to the part of the show that a lot of people have been waiting for. A lot of people have been wanting to see this. Not a lot of people have seen this video. So it's our newest Tomato King. I know we had to retire the ABBA Pancake King song, but now we're the Tomato King song we're going to now. A lot of people have been waiting for this one. So here's the premiere, the exclusive premiere of the Tomato King song. So here we go.
I'm gonna keep on winning, so I won't be in the tomato club. Don't wanna wear that crown and get pelted with that farmer's love. Back to back like Cobb. Oh no, back to back like Cobb. Oh no, now that just ain't my fate. I'm gonna keep on winning, so I won't be in the tomato club.
So what did you think of the Tomato King, of the new song for the year?
There's a lot of crossovers. Looked like I was merged with like Yags, merged with Roden at a few points. It was catchy. Yeah, sounded like a classic early like 2000s bop. I think there could have been a chance like back to back like Cobb, like I got two B's back to back in my name. I don't know. There's something there. I think we could have done with lyrics, but overall pretty good. Yeah, might need to be my ringtone too. I'll have to show Tori the song here.
It was very Paramore, Haley Williams ish.
Yeah, big fans of both.
Hey, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Well, she is the lead singer of Paramore.
True.
Big fan of both. Yeah, you should be a big fan of both.
You know, Paramore and then her music. You know.
Yeah, I'm a big Haley Williams fan, but not a big Paramore fan. Yeah. All right. So Laura helped me with the making of that song. So we went to ChatGPT, then we kind of did some alterations. So she helped me with the back to back like Cobb 2x2. That was Laura's doing there. So nice addition there.
Love it. It was good. It was catchy.
All right. So now we're gonna get to brass tacks here, and this is where we do the Tomato King rankings. We do our 6 to 12 or 7 to 12 spot, starting with our 7th spot. So Cobb, do you have your 7th spot right off the bat?
Not off the bat. I have a name, but I'm not really convinced because I have a lot of teams combined in the 1 to like 8 spot. So I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna have Yags at 7. I think he has a very good potential team. I think there's just like a lot of question marks. I think this team could go either way. If Love has a good season, Metcalf gets peppered, Pearsall ends up being the guy. He's going to be a playoff team for sure. I think. It's just the little seed of doubt that couldn't happen or that won't happen. In which case he would be pretty solidified outside the playoffs because his bench isn't super deep and has a lot of question marks as well. So I'm going to go with Yags, but he could be easily in the playoffs here after the week 1 performance.
All right, so you got Yags at your 7th spot. I got Alex at my 7th spot. I got Alex, man. I like I said when we were doing this whole thing, I just don't buy his squad this year. There's something about it really like. So Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert, two mad quarterbacks and two offenses that don't really throw the ball. 2 offenses that don't really have a lot of weapons. So yeah, that's the number one thing. Nico, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, great. That's for perfect. Don't buy Marvin Harrison. As we saw, we talked about a team who won the championship last year, didn't even have him in their starting lineup in the championship. It was just that bad. They're hoping for obviously a sophomore year jump for him. But then George Pickens, that's your last flex. You're relying on Jordan Aston to come back to be a guy and be an asset for you. Talking about number 2 receiver galore on his squad. I mean, hoping for him that Deontay Thornton or Amari Cooper emerge as the number 1 receiver with the Raiders. But I don't know. There's not a lot to love with his team. And like I said, this guy who's got a lot of talking about high potential, top home run hitters. You didn't really round out that team well. You don't really have a quarterback who's can get you a 30 or 40 any day of the week. Purdy did that a couple years ago. That team's a little different now. So he's going to need Brandon Ayuk to come back fast. But yeah, I don't really like what Alex built as far as quarterbacks and as far as rounding out the roster. I know he didn't have a lot of picks in the early rounds, but he had more picks than I did. And I thought I hit on my bench and my last flex spots a little bit better than he did. I know projection-wise doesn't show that, but he could have done a little bit more than what he did. And for a team that's wanting to go to the quarterfinals, at least, I don't know. I think so on the right outside of the quarterfinals. So Alex is is the 7th spot for me. So who's your 8th spot?
Yeah, I'm moving around. I might move Yags to 8 because I'm gonna have Alex here too. So I'll just put Alex at 8 because I'm same boat. I think. I mean, Nico, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor are great, but a lot of question marks. A lot of people who could get 20s for the week or 2s. So I think that's a little scary, and I don't think he has the, like you said, the home run hitters outside of the Saquon, and I mean Nico can be a home run hitter, but we'll see. I I don't know. There's a lot of question marks there, and like you said, I don't really think he has a lot of great options to pivot from if one of these guys or two of these guys don't work out. So he could be in danger. So I'm gonna have Alex here.
No, it's a similar. You haven't said this guy's name yet, but I have a feeling he might be on yours. We'll see. ZT is my 8 spot. So I know I said it's gonna be a different year for me. Room to get some. I do think he went about the draft differently than he usually does, which I really liked. I really admired that. But again, for me, I need to see it. And just when I was looking at the match for week 1, I'm like, God, Tucker Kraft, okay, went him kind of early. Ted McMillan, I'm not a fan of. I do think that a lot of wishing there, the Carolina offense to be something. So there's that. It's a Christmas wish list there. Aaron Jones, not Aaron Jones. It's not your uncle's Aaron Jones anymore. This is Aaron Jones Sr. now. This is Aaron Jones who's splitting carries with Jordan Mason, who might be the guy there. Then you have Jalen Warren, another guy splitting carries. Couldn't even be out Najee Harris. Then you go to his bench, Chris Olave, who blows in a terrible offense. Roma Dunze, we don't know what's going to happen with that. He drafted a fullback in Cam Scatterbo. I mean, we don't draft fullbacks in fantasy. Come on. We don't have a fullback flex. We did. That'd be kind of sweet. We had a fullback spot. We didn't. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of ZT's draft. And ZT, man, we're waiting. A lot of people are waiting for you to do something. And right now, I just don't. I think there's a team that's like, okay, you'll put up some key weeks, but for the most part, I think there's a team that's on the outside looking in. And then we're again asking our question next year, what do we have to do to get a championship? I mean, yeah, at some point, you're going to have to blow it up with your keepers. He doesn't want to, but at some point, we're going to have to ask that question. And I've been asking for a few years, but I think his organization's getting tired of it. He went about the draft a little bit differently, but trading 8th and 10th round picks, is that enough? We're about to find out. We're about to find out if 10th round picks are enough. So,
yeah, a little big bait and switch again. Having the ZT down here. I actually don't have him in my bottoms. I think it was, again, very tough between a lot of teams. I think he was right in that mix, like same with Alex and Yags, but I had a little more faith in some of his guys. And yeah, but I completely agree with where you're at. And I think we're all rooting for ZT. You know, it's about time. He needs some gold, maybe silver around because you know we want to win too.
I mean, silver would be huge for him because he hasn't never had that either. So
yeah, he's just get the man paid a little bit.
Yeah.
This one hurts a little bit. I'm gonna have the reigning champ at 9. I have a lot of question marks around his team right now. I like Kyren. Kittle, I think, will be good. I just think that his ceiling, I don't really know. Like, it really hinges on Bo Nix taking that step forward. Neighbors, we'll see how that Giants QB room shapes out. Kyren, you know, there's a lot of question marks around him. People are always thinking that, like, the QBs like Hunter and Corum and everyone going to take his spot or take snaps there. And Kittle, I really like. McLaurin, he just got paid, so hopefully he's able to show out. But like Swift, Myers, and like his bench just kind of, I don't know. It's very meh to me, middle of the road. I don't really see a high ceiling for this team at the moment. I think there's potential, but especially for a team that traded away Jaden Daniels. I think if you had Jaden Daniels sitting here, I'd probably have him outside of this group. But right now, it's just kind of uninspiring, and I hope I'm wrong. You know, he's coming back from a championship, so he very well could be in the playoffs. Just again being seasoned, but right now I have him sitting at 9.
Yeah, so my 9 spot's a guy you had at your 7 spot was because yeah, I don't have him in my bottom, but I do see what you're saying. I went and looked at your lineup. I was like, huh, yeah, you might be right about that. Yeah. So I have Yags here, and Yags told me, you know, Yags didn't tell me. Someone told me close to the Yags organization that if it doesn't look good for the first few weeks of the season, you might see a blow up happening here. Which when you hear someone saying that, that means they're not really trusted in they're not trusting their team, which is kind of sad, quite honest with you. But Jordan Love, it was an interesting keep. I think he could have done a little bit better than that. He could have gone elsewhere for that, but you know, he's solid. But I mean, he drafted well as far as like his bench. But you always know when someone's like kind of like, man, they're not really trusting their quarterback when they draft 3 quarterbacks, and he drafted 2 other quarterbacks to go along with his keeper, which is interesting. Godwin, I like it. Like at some point he'll come back. I mean, his draft overall was like not bad because he's got good depth. I love his bench, really, I do. I don't like his starters though. You know, Pearsall could be good, and it's like I don't know. I don't know if he knows this, but just because you kept a guy doesn't mean you have to start him. So I hope he knows that you don't have to do that. And if I see my basketball tonight, I will tell him that. But DJ Moore, we don't know what his role is going to be. DK Metcalf, we don't know what his role is going to be. So I guess a lot of me saying he's going to hear, for me, it's kind of more like I just don't know how some of these guys are going to go. I don't know how Justin Jefferson's going to look with JJ McCarthy. He could be amazing. And then next week, he won't even be in my Tomato King. So there's a lot of unknowns with this team, but I do love his bench. There's a lot of unknowns here. It makes me kind of question what happens. And the fact that I'm hearing stuff that he's going to, or he's already thinking about like tanking and trading guys really makes me question some stuff going on in that organization. But as of right now, he's at my 9th spot in the Tomato King rankings.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear that a team's already talking about trading away their assets before the week 1 games even kick off. So hopefully it's just a rumor, and Yags gives it his all. We like a competitive Yags in this league. He's has all of his picks, unlike he did when he first joined the league. So it'd be sad. Going into my 10 spot, again, this was really tough. I'm not really sure how convinced I am that this should be a 10 spot person. It's just another team that I think maybe I'm getting hung up on the starting quarterback right now. I understand they have a second one, but it's Tasia. I don't know if I buy Fields being that starting QB. Like Goff is your backup. That's great. I think they'll be good, but like I'm just going right off of starters for week 1 and being that confident in Fields. I don't see it right now. Hope I'm wrong. Sat next to Tasia. We talked about how we're going to change it this year. Was right next to him in the Tomato King race last year. I think I did him a favor by selling my guys off. I think he would have been at the IHOP if not for that. So, like the dude, want him to have success, but something about that is just like, and then obviously like I think Mike Evans is going to be good, but at some point age is going to show. I know people say that all the time, but like obviously maybe not right away, but like I think Bucky's going to be a huge part of that offense. I think Ibuka is going to be a stud. So how consistent Evans is. Henry touching outside, great. McBride, great. Pacheco, like you said, I don't really know how that's going to shape out. Like Kareem Hunt could take the role. I don't really see the ceiling there. Connor, similar. Like I think he's safe. Sutton, I also I'm a Sutton guy. I kept him 1 year. Obviously a little too soon, but it's just kind of like similar to Stu. I'm just like when Rice gets back, I think I'll be looking at this team a little differently, and maybe it's like Goff at the starter. Again, I'm not super convinced that this guy should be in my 10. I just have him here now, and it's just like where I see the ceiling. I don't know. It's just very kind of like middle ground. Not overly exciting at the moment for me.
Another guy I do not have in my bottom, so I like that we're differing here a little bit.
Yeah, good.
I think in years past, it was pretty much like we knew who the bottom teams were going into.
It just shows people had good drafts, and like I think a lot of teams are really close. I'm not really confident in any of these positions, honestly. So I think like I'm right there. I think we're in agreement with a lot of like what we're saying. It's just how we value certain like smaller things.
Yeah, no, I agree. 10 for me is my guy Jack, Lil J. I love aspects of his team, and again, a lot of my like I said with Yagler, like he could have a great week this week, and it's like okay, some of the suspicions I had they were nixed because so and so looks good. So you got Hurts, BTJ, Achane, and McCaffrey. It's a really good tandem. If Tyreek Hill, now that whole situation's weird. He might ask for trades. This whole offseason has been so weird with him. And pretty surprising that he still traded for Tyreek Hill, given all that stuff going on. So really interesting that he did that. But nonetheless, Tyreek Hill, 20th round tender, and then you have all these other guys. And all those guys are formidable. But then we go to Etienne. I don't love that. And I think Etienne, he could be a guy to be traded. And they could go all in on Tank Bigsby. But then you have, like, look at his lineup, right? So you look at his bench. Caleb Johnson, he could be the starting back. He could be the guy over there, and they could use, Warren as the third down back, receiving back. And it's great. You have him in your last flex. Amazing. Also, I don't like Kyle Pitts either. I think the Kyle Pitts project needs to be ended like for good. I'm tired of hearing about him. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, this could be the year." I'm tired of it. And where he got drafted this year is probably where he should have been drafted 2 years ago. So I'm happy about that at least. You got Bill Merritt, the Commanders running back, a lot of people are excited about, but again, we don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, you got Rodriguez, people saying he's still getting first team reps, and he's a free agent right now. So, like, we don't even know. I mean, we could come out Sunday and we could see Chris Rodriguez being the back. And it's like, whoa, I need to pick him up. And then, like, Jacory Krosky Merritt, done. Bill Merritt, over. So, like, it's just a lot of, like, weird things, which, again, it could be nixed after next week. So he has options to fill that last flex spot because Etienne's weak. But we don't know yet. And right now it's like, if all three of those guys are sitting where we are right now, then it's like, whoa, kind of rough, man. And then Pitts, if he it looks like the Pitts from last year, it's like, it's a 0 in his tight end spot. And then he also draft Darren Waller. I'm not high on Darren Waller. I think that'll be a cut in a week or two for him. So, like, that's a blank space there too. I think all he needed to do was draft a guy like Goddard or a guy like that who's like, or Zach Ertz. There's a real floor there. It's like a 6 or 7 floor. Pitts' floor is like a 0. I mean, that's so bad. It's terrible. So yeah, I think Jack is my 10 spot. But again, next week it could be totally different because we know the roles of those 3 guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, Jack was another one I was thinking about having down here. I kept him out actually just because I was thinking about his top 4 with his QB, A-Chain, McCaffrey, BTJ. And then you throw in what Hill could be. I agree. I also think it's if you look at like the roster percentage on Jack's team, some people have like a 4%, 12% here, but he has like Darren Waller, Ayo Manor. Like, I know he's a popular breakout pick. Harris, Hollywood Brown. Like, these are people that like probably should be on the waivers. So if those guys don't hit or they get hurt, kind of risky. But I kept them out just because of the kind of firepower at the top. Yeah, these rankings are tough because we don't really know much, and there's so many people we're looking at with like new teams and new quarterback situations that I don't remember having this much of a issue on the previous seasons, but at least to start the year. My 11th spot is unfortunately my co-host right here. I have you 11. Just because I want to see where you go. I don't hate the team. I think you have a lot of like potential with like Braylon Allen, Calvin Ridley, I really like. Bucky, obviously. Worthy, I think, will be really good. It's really just about how your pieces play together. I think there's just a little question marks. Your QB situation be good between Mahomes and Baker. You'll just play it by matchup, and again, that's kind of like the huge difference maker, I think, in this team. When you look at the bottom 6 versus the top 6, oftentimes like the players around the QB are pretty similar, but it's always that QB play that like propels them. And I think that could be the case for you. But at the moment, I'm just kind of looking at the pieces around it. I think there's a little more question marks. But it's not to say that you can't fight out. But that's all I got. I think you had a tough draft. I think you had to pay up this year. But I think you still room to recover.
Yeah, I want to say I can't wait for next year's draft because I'll have a first round pick back, but I won't have a second round pick, which goes to you for the Bucky trade. So that'll be my last paying up for a long time. So honestly, it was great. It was good to have that. It was good to have a starting running back caliber for only a second round pick, and then what, a second and a fifth,
second and a fourth. Yeah,
pretty steep.
Pretty good.
Pretty steep.
I mean, it could be, if he's young and he's a 13th rounder, like it's way worth it if it's the season shapes out like it's supposed to.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm joking. I don't think it's a steep price. I think it was a fair price, but I don't think it's steep because he only did it for 1 year. This year doesn't do it, it's like, oh man, he's a one-hit wonder. And we've seen that before. A lot of guys in the past. Okay, so my 11th spot might surprise some people, but also might not surprise some people. Do you want to guess who my 11th is?
Man, Hotch.
Yeah, you got it. Ding, 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 ding. Matty Ice is my 11th spot. So Jaden Daniels, I love that. Obviously, great trade. I don't know what great trade in the sense that he got a good quarterback, but bad trade in the sense of what he gave out to get him. Just didn't make any sense. I don't like Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith is meh. Like probably one of the more meh receivers you can get. Omarion Hampton, we don't know what his role is going to be. We don't know if he'll pan out as a running back. I know they're gonna give him the rock a lot. They're gonna make do with that first round pick. We don't know what he's going to do. Najee Harris is there also in the mix. I think Najee's a bum, but again, that also adds a little bit there. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers, whatever. That's great. For outside of that, if anything happens to Devontae Smith, anything happens to Cooper Kupp, anything happens to Marion Hampton, we got to dig deep to that bench of his. So you got Quinshawn Judkins, Luther Burden, Rashad White, dude, these are guys who are pretty much on like the bench, or the waiver wire in most fantasy leagues. I know it's a free agent. I know it's a keeper league, so it's different. But it's one of the worst benches I've ever seen. So fantasy is all about luck and health. And we know every year guys get hurt, guys get dinged up. That team cannot sustain one injury, let alone two injuries. And we talk about a whole season of football. I see that not really panning out. We know Cooper Kupp's going to get dinged up at some point. So when Cooper Kupp gets hurt, let's say who's Hosh go with? Luther Burden, an unknown, number 3 on a team. Quinshawn Judkins, who's an NA right now. Rashad White, who's a third-string running back. Sean Tucker, a back. I mean, I don't know what he did at the draft. I know it was next to him. I know he started drinking the Tito's, but maybe he's drank the Tito's a little too early because that draft, that bench is so bad that I just don't know what he's doing. I don't think he can sustain an injury or two on that team, which leads me to where he is, 11th spot. I mean, come on. You're telling me the league wouldn't love to throw tomatoes at Hotch? I know he's a 12 spot. Not 12 spot, he's 11th spot. But him being in that conversation, I know there's plenty of people, me being included, I would love to just throw one right at his fucking gullet. I would love that so much. So, yeah, I have Hotch my 11th spot.
Yeah, it's a fair one. I definitely think that would be he'd be a popular pick for who people would want as the Tomato King. A lot of years of frustration would come out in those throws. Yeah, no, I agree. I think again with Hotch, I don't have him in the bottom 6 because of his top. Again, it's one of those things where like last year I had the same issue. I think his team looked terrible, but his top guys just kept getting him wins and like made the playoffs. And I like that he has Jaden Daniels now. And I don't know. I'm really hoping I'm wrong. I think like he's an injury away, or maybe 2 injuries away from being just hopeless. And I think that's really risky. But until those injuries happen, I'm going to treat it at face value and what the team looks like. I'd starter going into week 1. That's kind of how I approached it. But yeah, I see it. Yeah, we doing the number 12?
This is it.
Yeah, there's a tough one because I think I had him episode 1, maybe the first few at 12. Probably top 3 or 4 guys I don't want to get it because I just don't want to throw tomatoes at him. I'm gonna have ZB. I think I'm having it's kind of similar issues that I had with Taja's team. One, he needs to rebrand. I love JSN, but like everyone around him, I just don't see the ceiling. Like he does have Travion Henderson. I'll give him that. I think he's going to be rock solid at some point. But it's like at some point, like Kyler Murray. I don't know. Again, it could be PTSD from having him as a QB, but he's just like such a nothing for me. JSN, I'm a big fan. Kamara, yeah, like he should be okay, but I think the Saints are going to be even worse this year. And I'll see how much he's able to even do. I get that he's going to get targets, but like, dude, I don't know. And Joku, I get the Flacco pick, but like he could also just disappear as well. I think the Browns are going to be kind of messy. Devontae Adams, we need to see what his role is. I understand like what he should be, but I think we thought that kind of going into the Jets as well, and that didn't really happen. James Cook, I love James Cook as a player. I just think his upside is so limited, and he's going to get TDs vultured. Josh Allen's going to run. And you heard me say Zay Flowers earlier. Like I love him as a player, but it's just like the offense that he's in doesn't really let him break out. And again, I hope it changes going into this year. But yeah, it's just like a team that I'm thinking about this year, but I'm also thinking about like going into next year. Like, what is that team going to look like? I think JSN's a great foundation, but outside of that, I don't really buy the rest, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have ZB reluctantly at 12. I think the ceiling's just really low.
Wow, so you had Tasia, me, and ZB. The 3 dudes who came together, you had them as your bottom 3 teams.
Planned. If I to be completely honest, there was a few teams that you were listing off, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't go back to that team. I should have went back.
Yeah, I was as we were doing the team by team breakdowns, I was like making notes of guys. So we love firsts in this league. We love firsts in general, first time trade, first time this, first time back-to-back Tomato King. And what's better than a first time back-to-back Tomato King? It's something the Chiefs couldn't even do. We couldn't do a three-peat last year. It's nothing that better than a three-peat, a back-to-back Tomato King. But that's not happening.
Oh,
Another first is happening this year. I am saying right now, as I see right now, I think we're looking at the first time ever that I will be the last place in this league. And it's just based on right now, right? There's a lot of unknowns. The draft's going, and I'm like, God, what the hell am I? What's my storyline? I try to talk to trades with people, and people just weren't budging on it. People didn't want to do what I want to do. And I don't know if it was more like I want to see this guy squirm. I don't want to do a deal with that to get him out of this whole thing. And I was actively trying not to get rid of my future for picks. And we're gonna see, right? A lot of people made fun of the two quarterback keep, which could be a joke. We look back on it, but I really don't like my last flex spot. But again, that could change in a week, right? Braylon Allen could become a guy they might utilize him a little bit more than we thought. Although some people are saying he is the guy to own that offense, but we need to see it first. And I'm not gonna just because I want it to happen. I'm not gonna start in week one. Ramondre Stevenson in that time period should be the 1A while they kind of get Henderson involved. So that's okay. But let's say those things don't happen. And let's say one of those guys gets hurt in my starting lineup. I'm going to be starting Darnell Mooney, Adam Thielen, Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, I actually a lot of like sub-tier, like last flex guys that honestly, like, it's not bad based on how many picks I didn't have in those first like 6 rounds. It's not a bad team that I built, but like, it's not sexy names. I went like high floor guys. I just don't know if that's going to be able to withstand this season. If Mahomes goes back to what he's been doing the last 2 years, it's like, oh boy, this is not good. And if Baker regresses back to what he was 2 years ago, then it's like, oh man, like it's solid, but like I wasted 2 keeps on guys who were just like mid-tier quarterbacks, like bottom of tier 1. So yeah, like there's a high probability this team is a team that's looking at the bottom 6, looking at the bottom 1 spot. So right now, I'm just going to withhold judgment on my team. But right now, I think looking at all 12 teams, I think my team top to bottom is one of the weaker teams if we're looking at starting rosters. So that's why I'm having myself at the 12th spot right now. I hope to God I'm not the first one because I know it would give so many people satisfaction to throw tomatoes at me, like how I feel about throwing it at Hodge. I think I'm like tier 1 above everybody else right now, which really sucks. But hey, being the face of the league, sometimes that's when you have to deal with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have myself at the 12th spot. Surprising or not surprising? I mean, you had me at 11, so not that surprising.
Not surprising. I think that was where I like when I didn't hear you early on. I thought that's what you were gonna put yourself at, and yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. Like you said, I think putting our faces out there and doing the commentary and predictions like rub people the wrong way, but we do it for the entertainment factor, you know. We love doing this, and I think there's a way out for you. And there's a lot of teams that like one injury away can shoot them right below you. So I think, yeah, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, like it's not like a completely dire, like, oh my God, there's nothing I can do with this team kind of thing. It's just more of a like wait and see. And winners Alex would be a big one.
Yeah, that'd be huge. That'd be a great way to start the season. I'd be so happy, and you'll hear it on the group chat because that's how happy I'll be. So yeah, just so we know, so everyone knows, it was kind of agreed upon. We didn't really vote on it, but it was kind of agreed upon at the draft. The way we would do Tomato Kings, I'm going to get this out now so we can look back this week 1 before if I am the guy, or if you're the guy, for example, we have it already out there documented. So what we said was this is based on regular season, so we'll stop the count of regular season. Every team, whatever wins that team gets, that team will have that many tomatoes to throw at him. So let's say I have 6, you have 7. That 7 tomatoes you get to throw at that Tomato King. I have 6, I get to throw 6. So each person will have a little basket of tomatoes, and that will count for how many wins you had from the prior season. If you cannot make the draft, you're a remote guy, you would just say, hey, blah, blah, blah is going to have, like Adam's going to have my tomatoes, or Cobb's going to have my tomatoes to throw. So that is how we are going to go about it. So again, when this is done, set in stone, the Tomato King will be hit by each player with the same amount of tomatoes they have as far as wins go. So that'll be correlation. So that's where we have it. So I hope it's not me. I hope it's not you. I will say this, it'll be first, regardless for anybody. It'll be the first time Tomato King loser to get tomato thrown at them. I would be the first ever to it'd be the first time for me to ever be bottom of the league. You'd be the first time ever goes back to back of being in last place. So a lot of firsts to be had this year. So it's gonna be an exciting season. Exciting season.
It's gonna be a good one. I'm excited.
It's gonna be great. But that'll do it for us on the first episode of the Cobb and Dash Show. We'll see you guys next week. You'll be gone next week?
No, I'll be here for next one.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
So that means week 3 and week 4 I'll have to find somebody. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. So week 3, week 4, I'll be texting you guys to join me on Live on the Cobb and Dash Show to be my co-host for week 3 and week 4. But hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you on the group chat. Take it easy, everybody.